Well, my first comments are as follows. I'd first like to say a big thank you to ESG Adria for having me here. And I'm deeply honored to be here on stage with Mr. President and the former Prime Minister who I've met before in her beautiful country as well. And thank you for the warm welcome. Now, my comments will be addressed really to the private sector, but there's certainly you would see that reflected in the public sector as well. In addition to the few things you mentioned, we are in a situation where there is extreme global macroeconomic uncertainty, where inflation that has started to fall might start to rise, where we're seeing a low growth in many of the big Western countries, emerging countries. Some countries are doing better. Global supply chains are still compromised. And importantly, the global geopolitical environment is extremely complex. Now, what does this mean for businesses and leaders? And as follows. The first thing is that for leaders, you need to be agile and adaptable. No one knows what is happening tomorrow, what's going to happen tomorrow, so you have to be agile and adaptive. The second thing is, as the former Prime Minister mentioned, we talked about technology, is that technology is changing at an incredible rate. And for many of us in this room who were actually at Davos in January, what has happened on the technology front with artificial intelligence, moving right from one AI and generative AI provider, which was ChatGPT, not only to several. We're actually seeing the move from artificial intelligence using generative AI, moving through to chatbots, moving through to AI agents, and are we on the verge now of artificial general intelligence, which means artificial intelligence that can mimic very closely, or even better actually, human intelligence. All in a matter of months, we've seen all of this happening. We've also seen the situation of humanitarian crisis across the world, which is frightening. And so business leaders have to deal with all of this. But these issues are not issues that can be dealt with the one leader alone. So leaders need to, one, be not only adaptive, but they need to be collaborative. We have a young population which is coming up fast in Gen Z. And many leaders don't actually realize how to deal with Gen Z, given that Gen Z, in another few years, are starting to enter into the leadership, and these are digital natives. But most importantly, as Mr. President talked about, pushback. And behind that pushback is you're pushing back because you're rooted in values. And I think that is probably the most critical thing we need in leadership today, and business leadership, is that holding on to values. We know that inclusion is important. We know that dealing with climate action is important. Irrespective of what's happening, the narrative may change, but the values still remain the same.